On behalf of Father Mark, Deacon Steve, Deacon Mike, and the staff at St. Lawrence, we would like to wish you, our parishioners, a very happy and blessed Easter. We sincerely hope you and your family members are well. Christ is risen. Truly, he is risen. While our church being empty makes us sad, we rejoice because we know that Jesus' tomb is also empty. Wow, this Lent, this Holy Week, and this Easter is none like we have ever experienced or may ever experience again. Hopefully your Lent was a fruitful one. I would ask what you gave up for Lent this year, but your answer is probably just like mine: everything. Almost every form of entertainment has come to a complete stop. My goodness, who thought there would come a day and you would be nervous and stressed out over food shopping, or more sadly, hugging a loved one? Our lives have been turned upside down by something we can't even see. This mysterious little virus has brought our economy to a complete halt. What is so amazing is that some people can be completely unaffected, while tens of thousands have lost their lives, and this uncertainty causes crippling fear. The apostles, Jesus' best friends, hid in tremendous fear during Jesus' most difficult hours of his life, when he was betrayed, seized, denied, abandoned, beaten, crowned, accused, tortured, and crucified. No matter how difficult things are today, it cannot compare to what Jesus endured during his passion, because he is the Son of God and allowed himself to be so mistreated by souls he created, for the love of you and love of me, just so that we might have a chance at heaven. In the first reading today from Acts, St. Peter gives a summation of the life and times of Jesus, how he lived, how he healed, how he died, that he rose, and how they ate and drank with him after he defeated death. Peter's first-person account, his witness, converted thousands, and people began to believe in Jesus through Peter's testimony. We are beneficiaries of that faith handed down over the centuries. Our belief, our hope, and trust in Jesus will get us through this. Just as Jesus suffered and died, we are going through our own form of Calvary right now. Jesus' rising from the grave proves that tremendous good can come out of such a horrific event. I believe a lot of goodness will come out of all of this. This pandemic is forcing us to die to old ways of living. With less distractions, we can focus on what is most important: faith. Perhaps you have taken the past few weeks to grow closer to God through prayer and scripture reading and spiritual reflection. I don't know about you, but not being able to physically attend Mass and receive Jesus in the Eucharist has been so incredibly difficult for me. While certainly not the same, it is comforting to be able to watch daily Mass on EWTN at 8 a.m. But if 8 a.m. doesn't work for you, there are many other resources to view Mass whenever it is convenient for you. The Pope records his Mass each day, as does our bishop and Bishop Robert Barron in California. Living these times confirms how much the sacraments, along with family and health, are the most important elements of our life. I feel sorry in a way for having taken these most important aspects of life for granted. We think, oh, church will always be there, my family will always be there, I have my health and my job, and yet for millions across our country and the world, in what seemed to be an instant, so much has been taken away. How awful for Mary Magdalene, who came to the tomb that morning to care for Jesus' body, only to find him missing, possibly stolen. for she and the apostles had not yet understood what Jesus meant by rising from the dead. In another gospel passage, when Mary Magdalene first saw Jesus, remember, she didn't recognize him. She thought he was the gardener. The two men on the road to Emmaus walked with Jesus for miles. They didn't recognize him. The apostles, when in the boat, seeing Jesus on the shore, didn't recognize him. While we too will rise from this, perhaps it would be a good thing if we come out of this pandemic unrecognizable from how we entered it. St. Paul in our second reading said, "We who are raised with Christ should seek what is above, think of what is above, and not what is of earth." If we are honest, most of our thoughts are probably earthly. However, this pandemic in many ways is forcing us to think and to live differently. St. Paul says our life is hidden with Christ in God. Since we are hidden in our homes, perhaps it brings an opportunity to focus more on God, as we come to the reality that trivial things in life are not so important. Spending more time with Jesus can be the goal of every soul. What is most important in this life is faith in God, love for family, and the well-being of our neighbor. Perhaps you are feeling stuck or bored. What is most needed right now is prayer. Perhaps you know of a friend or a loved one who have lost their battle with the virus. Please accept our most sincerest condolences. How sad, though, for family members who could not support them at their bedside, or say proper goodbyes, or give a proper funeral or burial. So many are sick in hospitals, who are alone and scared, because family members cannot be with them. Please continue to pray for the sick. Perhaps consider praying a chaplet of divine mercy for them. While social distancing will be the norm for some time, at least until a vaccine or effective treatment can be found, may we never be socially distant from Jesus in this life, or we could find ourselves eternally distant from him in the next. May we not be prayerfully distant either. Doctors and nurses and first responders are putting their lives on the line for us to care for the sick. Let us remember them in our prayers, for God to give them the strength that they need. For the grocery store clerks who are working overtime to keep toilet paper and other life's essentials on the shelves. They need our prayers as well. May God strengthen them all as well. For the next few weeks, we may feel like we are still on the road to Calvary. But just as Jesus rose from the dead, we too, with his divine assistance and providence, will rise through this. Remember what St. Paul said, "When Christ, our life, appears, we will appear with him in glory." So keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, and remember to let the people you care about know that you love them. So to you, parishioners of St. Lawrence, please know that we miss you terribly and we love you. We wish you all the very best of health. Please stay safe, and above all, have a very blessed Easter. Christ is risen. Truly, he is risen.